What is up, everybody? How are you doing today? Happy Tuesday, October... Oh my gosh, I almost said 30th. Happy Tuesday, October 20th. Welcome into the Fantasy Tap. My name is Michael, and this is John, and we are so excited to have you. We are currently recording in the middle of the Cardinals-Cowboys game, and if you took the money line on the Cowboys, I'm sorry.
Took the money line or the over-under at this point.
Yeah, yep, any of it. They're getting blown out. Currently, it's 28-3. They're about 5 minutes in the third quarter is left. And John has a bet out. He is hoping to hit on.
We're hopefully in the future, when you guys are listening to this, I've got some money in my pocket. The odds for Christian Kirk were 150 yards and 2 touchdowns. $1 would win you 342. I took that chance on that dollar.
Yes.
So we're about to be happy man here if it just can keep going.
Hopefully.
But we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
there.
he said he's going to do a giveaway if he wins. So
if I win this money on Christian Kirk, we'll be sending out a Christian Kirk jersey. You better believe it.
Yes, sir. But anyways, before we get into the show today, let's talk about our beer of the day. We are drinking on the Shiner Bock beer by Spoetzl Brewery out of Shiner, Texas.
This is an old beer. This beer brewed all the way back in 1911.
Don't spoil it.
Hey, we're just starting. But no, how do you like it so far?
It's all right. Not bad. I mean, it
was surprisingly malty at the back end so far. Again, I'm one sip in, but
yeah, I just had it. Yeah, it is kind of malty back there, right back there.
Yeah,
on the back end. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, we've got a packed show for you. Of course, we got our question of the day. We've got news to update you. We've got a new segment called Weekend Woes. Oh, woeful. We're woeful.
Who made you cry?
Yep.
Who lost you the week?
Maybe you got to laugh about it at this point. You know, it's like, oh, if I don't laugh, I'm going to cry. And then, of course, we have our waiver wire targets, players that you should be targeting during this week and picking up on those waivers. Why are you shaking your head over there?
Everyone's just running the ball in the Cardinals. We need air yards.
Yes, we do need air yards. We are down frickin' A. What happened here? Oh, we're down 2 points in another league. We need Kyler Murray to throw a touchdown. That'd be beautiful. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into our question of the day. Big one on everybody's mind. Everybody's mind. Okay? You ready, John?
I'm ready for you.
Are you ready? I can't pull it up. Oh, okay. All right, here we go. With that start, or with that, I'm sorry, not start. When Tua came in, is he going to be a Hall of Fame quarterback? 2 passes, 9 yards. That's unacceptable.
So Tua Tagovailoa just got his first looks at an NFL offense.
We're kidding.
But no, he was 100% accurate.
He was 100%, but he only threw for 9 yards on the day. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, the real question of the day is, with that bounce-back game by A.J. Green, is he going to be a viable fantasy football option going forward? John, what are your thoughts? Please enlighten the people.
I'm not. If you already haven't dropped him, I think he went from the easily droppable conversation to maybe I just look at him. I do know that all 3 of the receivers in the Bengals looked really good this weekend, including Tyler Boyd and especially T. Higgins.
Ooh.
But this is all A.J. Green really needed. He's been getting the targets outside of last week against Baltimore. He's just actually needed to be able to come down with the ball, and he finally did it, and he was able to get some yards. He scored 17.1 in a full-point PPR league without a touchdown. So I think at this point you put him in at one of your risky flex, low-end flex. You're not going to put him as a wide receiver 1 or a wide receiver 2. He's not going to be consistent enough so far that we can see. But this is what you can expect. A.J. Green is a talented receiver, but we just need to keep seeing it. Definitely no confidence behind playing him, but I keep him in there sometimes.
Yeah, if you haven't dropped him already, don't drop him. Kind of see what happens.
Maybe trade him away
if you can. if you can find somebody, somebody to trade for him, then great. Sell him on the, oh my gosh, AJ Green's back. Wow.
There's people out there, Mike.
I know. Well, that's what I'm saying. Do it. Do it if you can. But if not, then don't drop him. If he is available in your league, I wouldn't be running to pick him up. I wouldn't be spending a high waiver priority on him, and I wouldn't be spending a high fab budget. If I have that number one waiver priority, there's a ton of other targets that I would rather spend that on. And then, to be honest, a $0 to $1 bid or 1% bid is probably what I'd put on him, and just see if I got it, and if not, oh well. He does have a pretty solid matchup this coming week against the Cleveland Browns. So could be a viable week this week for him. After that, though, Tennessee by Pittsburgh. So two pretty tough matchups, but I wouldn't go running to the waiver wire to sign AJ Green. He is not the AJ Green of old, but glad he had a good week.
Yeah, again, definitely not going to be someone you want to go running, pick up, or spend anything on, but someone that you're possibly going to be wanting to hold on to, just as another roster piece for you. Just nothing to confidently hold on to.
Yep. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into our news of the day. We are going to be going over some key injuries and some other news from around the league. First off, Raheem Mostert, we were watching the game, and he did not come back in the game with a high ankle sprain, and he was placed on IR.
He's currently looking to be placed on IR. Hasn't officially happened as of recording.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I read that wrong.
Yeah, but more than likely going to happen. Sad to see, but he's gone again. He's only back for a short time.
Oh.
Got about a week and a half out of him before he's gone.
Help.
Another running back out of the game who left Sunday after putting up a decent showing was Joe Mixon.
Got in the end zone.
Yeah, he was able to do pretty solid-ish in the beginning part of the game, but left the game with a foot injury, and they're still awaiting some updates to see how much time he's going to be missing. Giovanni Bernard did come in and look pretty decent.
He got in the end zone before Joe Mixon did. He took a goal line touch before, we got him in the end zone. I'm tired of Joe Mixon this year. It hurts my heart.
Yeah. Corey Davis is going to be coming off the COVID exempt list this upcoming week, so expect him to be coming back, possibly looking good for the Tennessee offense, maybe able to get some more pass catchers out there.
Like they need him. Everybody's catching the damn ball.
Yeah.
Anthony Firsker.
Well, Jonnu's injury kind of sucked for him there, which allows opportunity for some people.
Humphreys, A.J. Brown.
Another person coming back for you guys is going to be Melvin Gordon, is expected to be back week 7. And then Noah Fant and KJ Hamler also maybe returning from injury in this upcoming week. Zach Ertz did leave the game and is expected to miss about another 3 to 4 weeks with a high ankle sprain. Don't really know where they're going to be going for tight end. Hopefully Dallas Goedert comes back relatively soon. I believe he's able to be eligible to come back at the moment. Don't know how he's currently doing. I haven't seen much updated news on his injury situation. Yeah. And then also Devontae Parker suffered a groin injury while playing the Jets out of everyone.
Good night, man. Jeez.
Sad to see.
Of course it is.
He had a slightly disappointing game. So hopefully that injury is the reason it happened. Not really sure when it would have happened. I don't remember ever seeing him leave the game for an extended period of time. But hopefully it's not something that's going to continue to linger. He's been technically injured throughout most of the season with some sort of hamstring designation. So possibly not going to be too much moving forward throughout the season.
Yep. And then Jonnu Smith, like you did mention, he did sprain his ankle, and it is considered to be minor, but keep an eye out on the updates that come out on that. Other than that, let's get into our new segment, John, the Weekend Woes. Man, rough week.
Sounds like a sad day with some rain.
Yes.
Tragedy.
Yes, indeed.
Real tragedy.
Weekend Woes, man. Who killed us this week? gosh. Like I said, if you're not laughing about it, you're probably crying about it. Some guys that really, 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 really hurt you. One of them, probably, I would say the biggest disappointment of the week, Alexander Madison.
Absolutely. Everyone is expecting him to come in and be that running back one, top 4 running back on the week. But about halfway through the game, we started seeing Mike Boone come in, Amir Abdullah. Everyone was getting touches.
Because he couldn't do anything. 2.6 yards a carry this game. Jeez, man. Come on. Come on, Alexander. We know you're better.
And that's going up against the Atlanta defense.
That's the thing. Everything fell into place. Dalvin got hurt.
Not everything falling into place. I mean, you did have Kirk Cousins throw 3 interceptions in the first quarter, which really saying stalls a drive.
Going into the game. I'm not talking about the game. I'm not talking about the game itself. But you got Dalvin Cook injured, out for the week. Everybody's been handcuffing Madison for the entire year, waiting for this day. And when it does, they're playing against the Atlanta Falcons, who overall defense, not great. So it's like, dang, man, this is perfect. I mean, we don't do weekly rankings just because of the time factor. But I know if I would have done them, just like probably everybody else, he would have been in my top 5, top 8, because it looks so juicy.
Yeah, no, he was an obvious must start in almost anyone's books, mainly on the fact that even when he came in last year for Dalvin Cook being out, he was able to be extremely productive, as well as being complimenting Dalvin Cook while he was still there at the end part of the season when they were sharing the backfield. So expecting him to come in and be able to show a strong workload like he did at the end of last week against Seattle was more than reasonable and reasonable to expect. Yes. But like I was saying, though, when your offense stalls in the 3 times in the first quarter, you lose a lot of opportunity for rushing attempts, for attempts out of the backfield. They look to move the ball downfield
quickly,
and that in turn turns into a Justin Jefferson balling out game.
Love it.
Which is nice on the other end. But no, Madison was absolutely terrible this week. Hopefully you were one of the 2 out of a million people that didn't jump on that train. Congratulations. Really hoping Dalvin Cook can come back in week 8 again, or week 8 against Green Bay.
Me too. Another one that hurt us, Mike Gesicki put up the old goose egg. No catches, no nothing. But you know what? The other 2 tight ends, they each had a game. They each had a touchdown.
Oh, yeah, they look great, too.
Yeah, Adam Shaheen, second game in a row with a touchdown. And then, of course, Durham Smythe got in the end zone as well. Man, another one. Juicy matchup. You're thinking he's going to get the targets, and nothing. And nothing. Really killed us. Actually, if we lose this week in one of our leagues, it's because of that.
Yeah, really sad to see.
Very.
Someone else who had a pretty juicy matchup is on paper, and someone who's just been balling out this week, though. Aaron Rodgers kind of laid up a dud, too. I know there's leagues out there that their scoring set up to where you can lose a half a point for a reception or an incomplete pass. And if you're in one of those leagues, he got negative points for you.
Yes, he
actually got negative. And that's including that touchdown run where he – or no, that was called back.
Yeah, it was called back.
Oh, that's terrible. Never mind. But he attempted the Hingle McCringleberry.
Yes, indeed. I saw that little double hip thing. Boop, boop.
No 3.
Triple. Boop, boop, boop.
No, 3 would have been a flag.
Double. Boop, boop.
Yeah.
So yeah, man, that really killed us. I am expecting a bounce back game from him this coming week, playing the Houston Texans. So it sucks. May have lost you the week, but nothing I'm going to be changing. He's balling out, and hopefully, it continues this week against the Houston Texans. Now, another a wide receiver that really hurt everybody, which, not to toot our own horn, but...
Oh, don't do it.
I'm not. But Mike Evans, worst game of the year. He caught 1 pass, and it wasn't for a touchdown. So
it was past 2 yards, so he wasn't anywhere close to the red zone. But no, first game out of the season where he did not find the end zone. Still averaging a touchdown a game, though.
It's amazing.
Yeah. So no 2-yard touchdown for Mike Evans this week. The Buccaneers were able to finish off the Packers without that. Sad to see because I know a lot of players see him as a must-start guy. And even with all the injuries that were going into this game, I mean, Chris Godwin was banged up. Scotty Miller was banged up. Literally every pass catcher in that offense was banged up, including Mike Evans going into this week. So a lot of people just played him on that. He was not the big man in town. It was actually Gronk.
Yes.
Gronk came in and said, no, those are going to be my touchdowns.
Balled out. Tyler Johnson had a touchdown.
Yeah.
Beautiful for the young rookie. But, man, it was not beautiful if you were a Mike Evans owner. So, also, keep an eye out on what happens in that offense, with Chris Godwin back. And obviously it was a weird game, but with Chris Godwin back, I do think he's going to be that team's number one. If you drafted him, you're not going to bench him. If you have the opportunity, I would maybe looking to trade him away if possible, or waiting for another solid game from him and then doing so. Another weekend woe. Tyreek Hill, man. Game just finished a few minutes ago. Just didn't do Tyreek Hill things. Put up a dud in his book. Half PPR, he only scored 4 points. 3 catches on 3 targets for 20 yards. Not going to get it done. Not going to get it done, and not what you're looking for. If you drafted Tyreek, obviously he's one of those big play guys, can put up 30, 40 points in any given week, but did the exact opposite this week.
Yeah, I mean, this is looking like his worst game of his career, actually.
Wow.
Hasn't had a fantasy finish lower than this. Back in 2017, Week 8 against Denver, he got targeted 6 times for 2 catches and only was able to put up 38 yards. But other than that, it was his worst week.
Wow. Jeez, Tyreek, man.
Going against Buffalo, this game was expected to be a shootout.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of people were playing the Chiefs receivers expecting a lot. I mean, Mecole Hardman we can kind of call a woe as well, because he was someone that everyone was hot on going into the week, knowing that Sammy Watkins was going to be out. So I think the fact that Tyreek Hill busted for everyone probably hurt a lot of people, including myself. So if you guys are having a sad beer, I'm here with you.
I can let you know it helped me. I was playing against Tyreek. Don't have many shares, if any, of him. So help me. But dang, I'm sorry if it hurt you. I'm sorry. We're here to...
Him and Madison hurt me together.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Madison. Oh, man.
As well as 2 other people on our list.
Was one of them T.Y.?
No, I jumped
T.Y.
off
Hilton? Got off while you could. Smart. T.Y. Hilton, another weekend. Whoa, man. You weren't expecting anything, but I would say you were expecting a little more than 1 catch for 11 yards, in my opinion.
Especially coming off that Week 5 game where he was just targeted 10 times and able to bring it down 6 times. Where'd it go? I mean, Phillip Rivers was lighting the ball up. He actually was balling out for a little bit. But why not T.Y.?
Yeah, I know. My thing is, and I'm gonna keep pounding on it. Phillip Rivers, noodle of an arm, and T.Y.'s.
I think it's kind of an age thing for both of them.
Could be.
Why T.Y.
Ripe old 30.
I mean, T.Y.'s been a great receiver throughout his career, but he's never been that elite type. He's always kind of been that Keenan Allen, slightly underrated.
Yes, he has been.
And maybe at 30, those types just don't still have it. It's not a Julio Jones. It's not a Larry Fitzgerald. I mean,
step off. He's just a step off.
It is. Sad to see.
Going into the bye week, then he comes out and plays Detroit, which is a pretty solid matchup, and then Baltimore, though.
Ooh,
not somebody I want to be facing, especially if I'm struggling. So keep an eye out for that. And then the biggest, would you say this is the biggest tight end disappointment this week? I know Mike Gesicki sucked.
I don't know. There was a handful of them.
That was a pretty disappointing.
I think Mark Andrews is definitely the one that's going to have the most impact. Just
sting
because
a lot of people.
He's one of the most highly started tight ends in the league.
Mm-hmm.
So him putting up 4 points in a full point league is going to be absolutely devastating to a lot of people.
Yeah.
I mean,
absolutely. It stinks.
It's a high draft capital pick, meaning that you better have wavered someone that turned into be a baller.
Yeah. Yep. Not good for Mark Andrews. 2 catches, 21 yards. And that's it. That's all she wrote. He did get 4 targets, which is the second lowest on the year. He did have 2 other games where he got only 3, but he did put up 2 touchdowns in one of those, which was nice. And then the other one, he was another dud. So not a great week. He's kind of been inconsistent. He is a tight end 3 currently at this point in time, but weeks 2 and 3 he struggled. He had that massive week 1 and a great week 4 as well. Then a solid week 5. But, I mean, that's kind of saving him. Do you think he's the same Mark Andrews from last year?
No. I mean, last year, personally, I didn't think he was going to be the same Mark Andrews this year. Last year, he really thrived on those, on Lamar Jackson being Lamar Jackson, and really having that touchdown upside. That's not something I saw being extremely repeatable. I knew he was going to have those touchdowns, but I just didn't think he was going to have 10 plus another 800-yard season.
Right.
I mean, he might get those touches, especially with Hayden Hurst leaving, but I just didn't see him being as consistently amazing.
Right.
I know he's going to have those big games because he's going to get those touchdowns. It's just not going to be as consistent. And,
exactly.
And those targets aren't going to be as numerous.
Yep. Another weekend woe, Odell Beckham, man. You know, obviously it wasn't the best matchup, but I thought Baker he was injured.
Baker or Case Keenum?
Well, eventually, at that point, it was Case Keenum during the game, but I thought Baker might have, sucked it up and then finally beat the Pittsburgh Steelers in Pittsburgh. I think it's been since like 2003 since they've won in Pittsburgh, the Browns. So, you okay over there?
We're good.
We're good?
We're fine.
Are we good?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. It's not looking good on John's little prop bet over there. But, yeah, man, 2 catches, 25 yards. Worst game on the season?
Yeah, no, he looked terrible. I know he left the game. I don't remember what it was for, but I do remember seeing him leave the game a little bit early.
I think it was a hissy fit. He took his shoes off, took his helmet off, started talking to the Pittsburgh Steelers
oh, really?
fans. Yeah, there's a video on Instagram I saw. I don't know exactly, but yeah, it was like 8 minutes left in the fourth quarter, and he took his shoes off. I don't know, maybe getting comfortable. But, geez, Odell, come on. Get it together.
Yeah, I mean, especially when Jarvis Landry was out for the majority of the week, they needed something to happen. Nick Chubb was out. Kareem Hunt didn't do his job. Someone else who's kind of hurt a lot of people, especially with Nick Chubb out.
That team folds under
pressure.
Yes.
Well, I mean, with the lack of quarterback that they had, the Steelers' defense was just destroying them.
Yep.
I mean,
pick 6 kills you.
Yeah, I don't think any of these the terrible play out of either of those teams is really gonna. I think they're gonna bounce back next week when they're not going up against the Steelers' defense and look a lot better.
I hope so, John. We're winning.
Why do you say that out loud?
Because we are. I'm just saying.
Okay.
And then last but not least, same game, Eric Ebron.
2 weeks in a row.
Yep, really broke our hearts. Really, he broke it last week, and then this week he took the pieces, cut them up into little shreds, spit on them, and then set them on fire.
Dried them out first, because
Yeah, man, jeez, gasoline all over it. Wasn't pretty. I really wish he would have done something. Could have helped me. Could have helped me in a couple leagues. I did think he was going to have a solid week, especially going up against the Browns. But we saw the defense step up. They gave Chase Claypool the ball. Real one. A1, real one.
A1, real one. Who, Chase?
Yeah, man.
Yeah, no, he's a baller.
And then, man, not great. Come on, Eric. Are you going to be playing him at all in the coming weeks?
No.
Have you lost all faith?
So I've faded a lot of those mid-tier tight ends, just like Tyler Higbee, even though he had a moderate game. I mean, usable, 56 yards for 3 catches. But those guys, I'm just not going to be consistent with them. It's going to be purely matchup based. And then even then, it's going to be what's going on with the rest of the team. I'm fading Ebron mainly the fact that there's too many pass catchers on that team. It's not the Kansas City Chiefs offense. They can't keep that many people thriving. And they need to use their running game because that's how they keep the passing game open. Chase Claypool's become too dominant, and even when Deontay Johnson out, James Washington's someone who's pretty viable as well. He's shown to have big games, even when Juju's not doing Juju.
Juju is not Juju, that's for sure.
Juju is also someone who was a little disappointing this game. I mean, he only came into the game with four targets, 2 catches, and 6 yards.
Yeah, let's throw him on here. Weekend woe, Juju Smith-Schuster. He wasn't originally, but man, just not this year. I mean, he's just been Juju of last year. No,
just tragic, really.
I know, man. You really root for the guy. You really want him to do something. Seems to be, a great kid. But I would say this is his last year in Pittsburgh.
Juju, yeah, I don't think they're going to spend the money on him, especially when they have all these young talented receivers that can do pretty well for themselves. My only question is they've really made him a face of the team in this offseason. And ever since AB left, that's the only reason I don't think that they fade on Juju. It's just because they've already invested so much marketing stock in him. And I kind of think that he is the type of person that isn't looking for wide receiver 1 money because he knows he's not a wide receiver 1. So it's really, what is he looking for? I mean, after this season, he's not going to be able to ask for too much.
Yeah, not at all. Or last season. I mean, to be honest, I think that Chase Claypool, he's going to be very marketable. Canada, friendly, all that. So he could definitely take that over. I don't think that that's really going to play. If it's really going to come down to what does he want for money, and can they make it work? They also have Deontay Johnson there. Chase Claypool. I mean, I don't have a crystal ball, but if I had to, put money on it or anything like that, I don't think Juju's a Steeler next year, unless he drastically takes a pay cut, just because they have 2 young guys on rookie contracts. So, but anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that was our weekend woes. If you have a weekend woe, tweet us. Let us know. Let us know who really hurt you this week. Who lost all your not respect, but your
confidence.
Confidence, great word. Lost all your confidence in, and just did what Eric Ebron did to us. So,
is Eric Ebron no longer playable for you at all?
I mean, matchup based, really matchup based. But I mean, looking at his schedule coming up, I'm dropping him. I think he's droppable at this point.
What do you think about the fact that everyone kind of that Kareem Hunt OBJ thing? Dearness Johnson, negative yards.
I think that people expected that though. After his performance last week, Kareem is clearly the running back in that offense. So I mean, keep him to see what happens, because he is second in line now. If Kareem Hunt goes down, maybe they just go out and sign Lamar Miller off the Bears practice squad. But I mean,
grab Kalen Balaj.
Yeah, somebody.
He's floating around the league.
Yeah. But no, yeah, Dearness Johnson, he's not. I mean, actually, really, in all honesty, being de-earnest.
Oh, is that a joke?
De-honest, that's it. Being de-honest, I'd cut him. He's not worth holding on. But yeah, a lot of woes in that game.
Yeah, I figured it'd be too much, but I would say that entire offense is pretty terrible this week.
Yeah, have you owned any part of the Browns?
Austin Hooper. I was going to say Austin Hooper was the only one that actually found himself to be reliable for anything.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, that was our Weekend Woes segment. Now let's jump into our waiver wire targets. We've got some guys who maybe we've talked about in the past, last week, a couple weeks ago, whatever. But some guys or some new ones we haven't talked about. But these guys you should be picking up this week. in those on those waiver wires. First off, I told you last week, Travis Fulgham, man. I think he's, with everything missing from that offense, I think he's a real deal. He put up another solid game, had 10 targets, second double-digit target game in a row, 6 catches, 75 yards, and a touchdown. Like to see it.
Yeah, me too. No, I'm really happy to see it. I think he's an absolute baller. I was really, really hype on him this week, especially with the fact that even with the receivers that did come back for the Eagles this week, he took him a little bit to get hot. In the beginning of the game, he wasn't getting the same targets that he was getting. I mean, John Hightower got some looks, but by the end of the game, he was able to get enough to ball out and look absolutely great. Questioning whether or not maybe the Eagles found the receiver last year, but he just was hurt. I think he's a baller. I mean, he was able to score a touchdown in all 3 of his first starts. Can't really ask for much more.
6'2", 215, pretty big body.
Pretty big guy. I mean, him and Jalen Reagor next season may be pretty good with Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, Jalen Hurts gonna step in there. No, I mean, I feel so bad for Carson Wentz, but that's a whole nother section. He's got no offensive line. Me and you are blocking for him pretty much. But Travis Fulgham, go pick him up. He's only owned in 47.2% of ESPN leagues, so he's out there in the majority of leagues. I do think he's worth, a $10 to $12 bid or 10 to 12% bid, especially with Zach Ertz out now too. Lost another weapon. Now Alshon and D-Jax are going to come back, but neither of those guys really stay healthy anyway.
I was going to say, they don't stay healthy, and I think he's proven himself to be reliable enough for he's been getting the targets enough lets you know that he's comfortable in that offense. Miles Sanders being out hurts, but helps him. Makes it look good.
Yeah.
Let's move that ball around a little bit. Throw it to my man Fulgham.
100%. And, he plays the Giants next week, Dallas the following week, bye week, and then he plays the Giants again and the Cleveland Browns. So he's got some pretty favorable matchups in the coming weeks. You just got to get through that bye week in week 9. But, I mean, I like him. Pick him up.
Yeah.
Pick him up. Moving on to our next waiver target, T. Higgins. Is he that team's wide receiver 1 right now?
No, that team's wide receiver 1, for me at least, in my opinion, is still going to be Tyler Boyd.
Agreed.
I just think Tyler Boyd was being shadowed a little heavier than he was. But on the upside, T. Higgins able to get to 8 targets and 6 catches, goes for 125 yards. So that's his breakout game. Didn't get a touchdown, but had he got in the end zone, he'd be absolute baller. Obviously, wide receiver 1 numbers this week. I think you're going to be getting something like that from him a lot more often. Just on the fact that the schedule coming up for the next 2 weeks before that bye week, looking pretty good. You got Cleveland and Tennessee. Tennessee just let Will Fuller and Brandon Cooks walk all over them. Deshaun Watson was able to look pretty good. So I think T. Higgins is the type of receiver that's going to be able to really produce in these next 2 weeks. And if he's not on your roster, you must have DeAndre Hopkins, Chris Godwin, and Calvin Ridley sitting there.
Yeah, 100%. I love T. I think he is going to be great for that future. Him and Joe Burrow are going to make waves in that offense. But this year, I do think he's going to give you more games. These rookies, man, holy crap.
Yeah, this entire draft class is absolutely great.
So much talent. It's crazy.
Who's the most disappointing rookie for you so far?
Most is J.K. Dobbins.
Really disappointing?
Yeah, just because, he hasn't really – it's no fault of his own. He just hasn't had the touches.
Oh, really? See, mine's coming up here in a minute.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I'm confused. Is it the next 2-1? 2 away? The one guy who's been injured? Oh, can't.
Still playing. Still hasn't done anything.
Well, he's only played 3 games. But anyways, JaMychal Hasty, another waiver target, only owned in 0.1%. Raheem Mostert potentially going on the IR. Keep an eye out for that with that injury. And after that happened, he got the majority of the work. Jerick McKinnon did not And it's going to be interesting how they play the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, personally, question whether or not he's going to be too great. I mean,
I don't know if there's any games I'm going to be starting him, especially next week, New England. I'm not going to play him, but I think he's one of those grab and hold candidates, and I think you can get him for really cheap, especially if you're desperate at running back.
Yeah, if you're really desperate at running back, he's definitely going to be on the waivers for you. So you need someone to start this week because you're literally scratching the barrel there.
Like Frank Gore?
He might be there. He may have a decent game, just get enough work to where he's usable. Jerick McKinnon's going to be the starting back. Even though he didn't look great last week, it doesn't mean that he's not going to he's going to look terrible again. So I wouldn't worry too much about that. But again, Hasty might get a little bit.
Yeah, he's really, I mean, he's not going to be somebody, like I said, you can just plug and play and start and get 10 points or whatnot. More of an upside guy, and the fact that he could jump into that role. Jeff Wilson's banged up. Well,
you got Telvin Coleman more than likely not coming back this week, but more than likely the following week. Do you see that as any sort of threat?
I mean, maybe down the road, but until we really hear something, for certain, then I'll make my jump. But I think Hasty's somebody you can grab and just hold on to and kind of see what happens. Maybe take that last bench spot. Now, moving on to our next waiver target, Zach Moss. He's only owned in 44.3% of leagues. Didn't do anything this week. He's had a very bad week. But the thing is Devin Singletary looks so tragic that I do think that this is more of a long play. You're not going to start him, right away. But I mean, the Devin Singletary has not eclipsed, more than 4 yards since week 3. So a carry. So he's not looking good. When you watch him, during the game, he's not good. He's not good.
No, I personally think it's just the change of the offense this year is part of the reason for it. The play calling is a little bit different. You see them moving the ball downfield a lot more. I just don't think that the Bills are using their rushing game at all or ever have the need to rely on it. Even when they're losing, they're still throwing the ball, which is the reason I'm not really like I'd rosters.
Well, you want to throw it when you're losing. You mean even when they're winning?
Even when they're winning, they're throwing the ball downfield. They're putting points. They're stomping on necks. They're not slowing down and rushing the ball. So even though Zach Moss is someone I do want to have on my roster, because if Devin Singletary does go down, I'd love to have him because if he can get that entire workload, then that's awesome. But if he's still splitting the backfield with Singletary for me, I'm not even going to play him.
Yeah, he's not going to be somebody, you end up playing, but I do think down the road he could, leapfrog Singletary, and if something happens to him, then, you've got yourself a running back too.
I feel like everyone forgets Singletary wasn't bad last season.
Oh, I know, but it's what he's doing this season, which they wouldn't. I don't think they would have drafted Zach Moss.
He's not. I think they drafted Moss as a goal line back. They didn't. That's what they needed. Singletary's not that. I mean, even this year, he's had 2 games where he rushed for 5.5 a carry.
Yeah, but he's also under 3 or right at 3 or under 3 the remainder of the season. So I mean, I like I said, when you watch him during the game, he doesn't look good, and Zach Moss is more of a hold and see. But get him while you can cheap. He's coming off a really bad game. Only putting up 5 carries for 10 yards, and you can get him for especially if you're on a fab budget, practically free. So put in that waiver bid for him. Moving on, somebody who may or may not win John money. It's not looking
good.
Great right now. But Christian Kirk, only owned in 43.4% of leagues, has 2 touchdowns on 3 catches?
On 3 targets.
On 3 targets, 2 catches. One of those was an 80-yard touchdown, and the other was a 6-yard touchdown. Not something you can rely on week in and week out, but definitely,
He did get 7 targets last week playing against the Jets, as well as he got 5 targets playing against Carolina. I do think he's going to start emerging a little bit more in the offense throughout the season. I mean, obviously you have D-Hop there, and Fitzgerald's been seeming to phase out week by week slightly more and more. And I do think you're going to find Christian Kirk being the number 2 receiver there. And with Kyler Murray finding the need to sling the ball sometimes, some weeks Christian Kirk's going to be a really great play. And I think that even later down the season, it's just going to get better.
Yep, 100% agree. Pick Christian up. The next waiver target, somebody who looked okay this week. Do you have a stat line in front of you? I'm picking up his roster percentage. Demarcus Robinson.
Oh, Demarcus Robinson.
Only owned in 1.5% of leagues, so he's out there.
In the majority
of leagues.
In the majority of leagues, yeah. He led the Kansas City Chiefs in receiving yards, targets, out of the receivers. Obviously, Travis Kelce was the leader in those. But he led in targets and receiving yards, getting 5 catches on 6 targets for 69 yards. You saw him in week 1 kind of come out and get those 2 deep targets for 2 deep touchdown balls that just were, one was called back and then one was just out of his reach. This week, with Sammy Watkins down, a lot of people were fading towards them. Mecole Hardman, Tyreek Hill ball out, yet it seems like they trusted him to get the ball in his hands. Tyreek Hill was only got 3 targets. Mecole Hardman got 1. Do you know there's one guy in between Tyreek Hill and Demarcus Robinson on the total targets for the team? It's Byron Pringle.
Ah, yes. The chip man himself.
He was able to get 2 catches on 2 targets for 46 yards. As Sammy Watkins is out, I'd think that Demarcus Robinson is someone that you can roster and hold to see if they continue to get it to him. I don't know if there's a timetable on the Sammy Watkins return yet, but I think that Demarcus Robinson is very talented and someone that they've shown they can throw that deep ball to. And if they can do it on a great matchup for you, you might find yourself in a really good play to play him.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Moving on, Adam Humphries, wide receiver for the Tennessee Titans. Getting his targets, man. He went 100% in receptions, 6 for 6 for 64 yards and a touchdown this week. If you look back to week 1, 2, and 3, he had 7, 6, 7 targets in those games. So he's getting his targets, and that I feel like this year, with the way Tannehill is playing, they are not having to rely on Derrick Henry as much, so they are passing a smidge more, even though Derrick Henry balled this week, 94-yard touchdown. Thank you very much. But Adam Humphries, especially if you're in any form of PPR league, I think is going to be a solid pickup, and there are going to be weeks that you can stream him in there, especially with bye weeks coming up. You got a bunch of injuries. This week's going to be a difficult one for him against Pittsburgh, but I do think that he is definitely going to give you some weeks and in a PPR format.
Yeah, and I think a lot of people might not be jumping on his train just because Corey Davis is coming back. But even when Davis was there, he was able to get 7 targets, 6 targets, 7 targets. So he's still getting the ball thrown towards him, even with those other guys there. And good to see. I mean, he's been a reliable receiver in the NFL for a few years now, so I like him.
Yep.
I think he's a great pickup, especially for that midseason. And
only owned in 4.5% of ESPN leagues. So grab him. Use that last bench spot on him. Next, we've got Giovanni Bernard.
Handcuff for Joe Mixon.
Yeah, pretty much. Handcuff right there. And he has been getting some goal line work, which if you're a Mixon owner, it sucks. But he's only owned in 2.9% of leagues. Pick him up, handcuff him, and especially, not knowing what's going on with the injury with Joe Mixon, he could be a solid play in the next couple weeks.
Yeah, I mean, and for all we know, if he can outscore or outproduce what Joe Mixon's been doing, who knows if they start giving him more time in that backfield moving forward while Joe Mixon's after Joe Mixon recovers.
Amari Cooper just scored a touchdown.
Oh yeah,
we lost.
Oh yeah, I already saw that.
Well, I did not.
I'm sorry for you, man. It's all right though. Well, we do need a running back. Maybe J.D. McKissick is available.
Hey, yo, stream of the week.
because he's sitting there at 23.5% owned and was actually fairly useful this week. I mean, if you look at him as a receiver, he was the top receiver for the team this week. And then if you look at him as a running back, he surprisingly was also the top running back on the team.
Love it.
So, I mean, great pickup, solid-ish. Was able to get 8 carries for 41 yards on top of 6 targets, 6 catches, 43 yards. Kyle Allen doing a lot for him.
Flexible in those half PPR. He put up 11.4 in half PPR leagues.
Yeah. So someone you're going to want to roster. Could be a sneaky flex for you here and there if you're really looking for someone. And then with that availability of, depending on the league type, being a receiver or a running back, could get a lot from him.
Yeah, it's great, that he is one of those weird players where he can line up in the backfield, line up as a wide receiver. And especially in leagues where he is running back considered, then those are the ones that you really like to see, especially this year with injuries and such. So I mean, he's gotten more work each week, and I'm hoping that he keeps rising. So J.D. McKissick, go out there, see if he's there, pick him up. Another running back who is owned in a lot of leagues. He's only owned in 51.9%, so just over half of leagues he is owned in. But that's Justin Jackson. Now, he didn't play this week, so especially if you're in a fab league, you're not going to have to spend a ton on him because people kind of forgot about him. And I think he's going to be a great play, especially for while Austin Eckler's out next couple weeks. He could be, one of those guys that fill in for your bye, fill in for your injuries and whatnot. He plays Jacksonville this coming week, and then Denver and Las Vegas, followed by a couple of really nice matchups, Miami and New York Jets. So I do think he is going to get enough touches to give you a solid flex position, solid or decent RB2 spot if you need that. So go pick him up. He is going to be flying under the radar this week.
Yeah, especially coming off that bye week. So a lot of people, and he only came back 2 weeks ago prior to the bye week. So a lot of people don't even know that he is available or what he's doing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Another one of my favorite pickups in the PPR formats, that's Cole Beasley, 29.8. He's owned in 29.8% of ESPN leagues, and I think he's getting targets out the ying. I'd love it to see in the offense, kind of like you were saying earlier. They throw the ball. They like they're not relying on the run game as much, but and he's getting just peppered with targets. His lowest, he had 4 in week 4, but other than that, 7 or 6 is his targets per game. So pick him up if you got him. If he's out there, I love Cole Beasley. He is injury prone, but he's got a really, really, really juicy matchup this week against the New York Jets.
Yeah, I mean, they found a lot of work with Stephon Diggs. A lot of people have been liking John Brown to the beginning part of the season, but the only person that's been extremely consistent without any super highs or super lows has actually been Cole Beasley. So I like him a lot. If he's available, grab him up. Solid flex play almost weekly, especially with Josh Allen balling out the way he has been. So I like him a lot. I think you guys should be picking him up.
Yep. Another one who is flying under the radar, even though he's had 3 solid weeks now. Tim Patrick, out of the Denver Broncos, wide receiver out there, only owned in 18.6% of leagues. Putting up numbers the past couple weeks, and with Cortland Sutton out, I do think he is going to give you a few more solid weeks. John, what's your feeling on Tim, on old Timmy boy?
I like him a lot. I mean, ever since you saw Cortland Sutton go back out on IR, Jerry Jeudy and Tim Patrick have been pretty decent looking. Not absolutely great in any shape or form, but Tim Patrick's been able to be open for a touchdown or 113 yards these past few games. With Kansas City coming up, LA Chargers, and then Atlanta, I think they're going to have to move the ball against Kansas City. I don't think they're going to get blown out, but I think they're going to try to make a play for it. They're not going to win.
No.
So they're going to be playing from behind. I think that Tim's going to have another big game. Against the Chargers, I think he could have another big game, but it's less likely. I think But then after that, you got Atlanta, Las Vegas, Miami, New Orleans. That's a pretty good stretch of flexible weeks with some upside. So I really like Tim Patrick. Drew Lock's back. He had a terrible game. Hopefully it doesn't happen again. But only being owned in 18.6% of leagues means that you've got about a 72% chance of being lucky.
Yes, 100%. So go pick up Tim. And then one of my favorite pickups this week, another player coming off a bad week, but he is getting the targets in his offense. That's Laviska Shenault. He's only owned in 46.3% of leagues. And like I said, he's coming off a down week. So another player that you might be able to sneak a low fab bid in and pick him up. I mean, he's gotten 6 or more targets in the last 4 weeks. So, and he's also gotten some rushing attempts. I believe I didn't see his rushing attempts on this game, but so far this year 9 before Detroit. So somebody they want to use in that offense, and somebody I think who is going to be a important part of that offense. Hopefully he can stay healthy, but I do think you can get him on the cheap. So go see if Laviska is out there. Now, just some obvious players who are out there on the waiver wire. In some leagues, these are guys 75% or more owned, pretty much. Chase Claypool, of course, Justin Jefferson, DeAndre Swift, Jerick McKinnon, and Noah Fant. Noah Fant's coming off that injury. You're going to have to spend up for these guys, especially Claypool and Jefferson. If either of these, and Swift.
If Jefferson, Claypool, or Swift are available, you're going to have to be spending a decent amount of money. If
you're expected to fit 50% of fab.
If Claypool or Jefferson are available, I would pay comfortably about 50%. If Swift's available, I'm only going to be paying about 30%, even on that big game. I mean, they're still a 3-headed back there. McKinnon, meh. I'm not paying super high for him.
No.
And then Noah Fant, I actually don't think you're going to have to spend a lot of money on him if he's available in your leagues, mainly on the fact that he's coming back from IR. And he has no recency bias. No one's like looking for him unless they're like huge fans. I think
you'll have to spend like 15 to 20% on him, just in because there are people out, especially if you're in a competitive league.
It depends on your league type too. I mean,
a lot of these guys are listening to us are in competitive leagues, so they got to stay on top of it. I think between that 15 and 20 is what you'll have to do for Fant. But the other guys, Claypool and Jefferson, I mean, depending on how much you have left, I would leave like 10% left of my budget and grab those guys, depending on how much I have. I think they're league winners. So, but anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into our beer of the day. How'd you like it, John?
I like it a lot, actually. It was pretty good. This one, I'm not going to get too far into it, but this one, I'll wait a minute, actually. I'll let you guys simmer on it. We're actually drinking on a Shiner Bock coming out of Spoetzl Brewery out of Texas. Good old Texas brewery. A nice Texas beer. Personally, I thought it was a really decent beer. It's a 4.4 ABV coming in at 16 IBU. So it's definitely pretty light on the tongue, but it's surprising because it kind of gives you that like malty, almost that stout flavor on the back end without giving you any of that strong bitterness. It kind of has that same malty flavor. So that's why I asked you in the beginning if you liked it, because I was wondering like, hey, okay, well, this is a flavor I know you enjoy. Is this what you're looking for without it? Thought it was pretty good. Starts off really, really light and then kind of kicks you in the back with some hops and some malt, but other than that, pretty sweet.
Yeah.
No bite, no nothing.
Yeah, it's a pretty easy beer to drink.
It's a chill one.
Yeah, if you're not, a beer drinker, but you want to start, I think this is something you could get into. It's not like an IPA where it really hits you in the mouth. It's just really light, has a little bit of sweetness, like John said, and overall a pretty solid beer. But Spoetzl Brewery, founded in 1909.
Ooh,
crazy, right? And then they started brewing this in 1911, I believe. Is what you said, 1911?
I think I was wrong, actually, because I just saw online that it actually was being brewed before the brewery started.
Oh, wow.
So I don't have an exact year for you. I think it might have been 1893 I saw. But again,
Dang,
I could be absolutely wrng.
Woo, it's an old one that they perfected the brew. Either way, it's been around for a long time. But the founder, Cosmos, was Cosmos Spoetzl, where it gets that Spoetzl Brewery name from. You can check them out in Shiner, Texas. You can also go to shiner.com, and they've got the brewery there, the beer. You can, obviously check out their social media and stuff like that, and then click the little find button, and you can find this Shiner Bock near you. They send out, or they ship out, sell, whatever, distribute 6 million cases a year of 6 million cases a year of beer. So holy crap, it's a ton of beer. 6 million times 12.
Oh, can you do it?
No, I can't. No, fuck no, frick no.
Really?
No.
72 million?
Thanks. That's why I got you, man. You and a calculator. That's all I need. So, anyways, if you're in the Shiner area, see if you can stop by this cool place. The building looks pretty neat. It's got that old Texas style architecture and stuff like that. So, see if you can, if you're in the area, check it out. And then if you're not, go to shiner.com, find the beer button, and then you can find this delish. Now, as for ratings, I'm going to give it a 7.1. Pretty average. It was a good beer, Didn't knock my socks off, but I didn't hate it.
No, I'm going to give it a 7.6. I like the fact that it had that like after the back end flavor of like that maltiness, hoppiness, that gives you that beer flavor, while it doesn't give you that bitterness that I really am not looking forward to in drinking. So like you were saying earlier, just a really easy drink. So I'm going to give it that 7.6, and something I'd actually recommend to other people. Yeah,
definitely a beer I would recommend. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you liked our weekend woes, our news, waiver targets, all that. Go pick them up if you can. And like I said, if you have any weekend woes that you want to let us know about, hit us up. John, tell them where they can hit us up at.
If you guys want to send us your weekend woes or any other players that just really disappointed you this week that you put a lot of stock into, make sure you guys send it to our Instagram or our Twitter at The Fantasy Tap. If you guys have any other questions, you can send them to thefantasytap@gmail.com. You can send us a cute little email. Reach out to us. Tell us how much you love us, or just let us know some beers you guys might want us to taste, drink, help us out. We're looking for some more. We're currently, running dry on the stuff that's around us. We're going far trying to find stuff.
Yeah, we are. We're going all up and down the East Coast. I'm going to Georgia and to Tennessee in a couple weeks, so I'm going to stop by as many as possible.
Oh, yeah, I'm going up to Georgia in January.
Boom. Boom, boom. So, yeah, hit us up there. I just lost because Kenyon Drake scored a touchdown. All right, people, I hope you had a great fantasy week. We will see you guys Thursday. Thanks so much.